Create a milestone by clicking the milestone tab and clicking create milestone. Each milestone, which is equivalent to a sprint, gets a title, and you can add any description for what your goals might be. It should be 1 week long, so from Sunday to Saturday in this case. To create an issue, click the green New Issue button, give an issue a title. Your repository should have templates set up, so you should see a template down below where you can provide a description and type of issue. I like to copy the issue title and put it into that title field. The description should be short and sweet. It should dictate what you're going to do. Importantly, the description should be long enough so whoever ends up working on this issue can implement it without having to ask you questions. The type of issue field that you see down below is meant for developers and designers, so there's kind of a mix. Labels should be assigned for developers or designers based on what you're working on. We've provided a number of different examples. In this case, I assigned this issue to myself and linked it to the sprint that I made on the previous screen, and click Create New Issue. Once I create an issue, it goes into the backlog. If I want to work on it in the current sprint, I drag it into the current sprint field and assign a person to it. When I start working, I drag it into the In Progress column. Now I'm working on this ticket. I'm just going to give a little bit of an example for developers. Here I'm just creating a branch on the repository, and I'm just putting a little sample text into a sample file. If you don't know exactly what this is doing, just imagine I'm coding in this case. So now I am going to commit my work with git commit, and I'm going to push it up to the new branch with git push. If you have questions on this, please ask a developer, a member of core, or the dev lead for more information. So now all the code is being pushed up to GitHub, so I can come on over to GitHub, and you'll see that we have a new branch. It's asking me if I'd like to make a pull request, so I click the green button. Pull request I can fill out with a little title. This also has a template that'll pre-populate for you. You can give examples of what you worked on with a couple main updates, things of that nature. Importantly, please provide the type of change for your reviewer. Now I come on over and I look at the ticket that I was working on. I can see it's issue number 25. So I can copy that link, or I can go right back over to the pull request and I paste it right in there. So I can, with that Zenhub link, I can either paste that link or just type in hashtag and then the issue number, and it should pre-populate a link for you. In this case, I don't have any screenshots or screen recordings, so I'm going to delete that text. Then for the reviewers, I would reach out to my dev mentor on my team and the other developers and ask them to review. The developers on your team will be listed in the pull request template. I then added the labels and click create pull request. Now my reviewers would take a look at it, provide feedback, let me know what they think. In the meantime, over on Zenhub, I take the ticket for that issue and pull it into the review QA column, so people on my team know that I'm looking for feedback, in addition to the people that I tagged. Once they provide feedback and everything's good, I click the green merge button, and now I have merged that pull request to the master branch, and now this ticket is officially closed, so I can drag it into the close column on Zenhub.
Now for the design side, you just create a new issue like you've seen before. Let's say that you want to create chat function and you want to have grayscale iterations. You can assign yourself, or in our case, we can assign someone else, for example, Mira, to do these iterations. Afterwards, you don't have to worry about the milestone just yet, because this is just going to go into the backlog at first. You can estimate, let's say this takes 2 hours to create, and you can label it as design and grayscale, wireframe, or lo-fi. You can submit that new issue, and basically once you close out of it, it goes to the backlog, and then you can move it inside the current sprint that you're working with once you decide with your team that during your sprint planning that that's what you want to do, and then you can assign it to that current sprint. So that is sprint 3 for us. Then once you start working on it, you can move it to in progress. And then once you're ready for review, you can move it in the review and QA column. And once you're there, you can add the Figma link that will be linked to the Figma file that corresponds to this series of iterations for the chat function. This is basically so that your reviewer knows where to go to see your work. You can tag them so they know that you want them to review your work, and also assign this issue to them. And then once your reviewer sees this, they will be able to look at your Figma file, leave comments, and then get back to you in that same issue. Now let's say that you work on the dashboard grayscale iterations and you start working on them throughout the sprint, as well as on the login flow, and your team worked faster in the login flow and that's ready for review and QA. However, the sprint has passed and the dashboard grayscale iterations are not yet done, and they're moving on to the current sprint, which is now sprint 4.